The average person in the USA owns 19 pairs of shoes. Let's think about that for a minute. That means you could go nearly 3 weeks without wearing the same pair of shoes twice. Unless you're going undercover for the FBI, we doubt you need that many costume changes in a 3-week cycle. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Since the dawn of shopping, we've been led to believe that choice offers freedom and options give us status. But the reality is, more often than not, we're slaves to the things we own. We need to buy expensive insurance to ensure we can replace our things, build higher walls to keep it safe, and better cupboards and storage units to store it all in. And as soon as we've done all of that, it's time for an upgrade. So, what's driving our more stuff mania? We at Alux took a look at where this desire comes from and 10 reasons why you don't actually need more stuff. So let's cut the clutter and start sorting through it all. Number 1. The Diderot Effect. This is the psychological term for the spiral of buying more stuff. It's named after a French philosopher who, after being penniless, came into some money and decided to buy himself a new robe. With this new robe on, he suddenly noticed how shabby the rest of his possessions were. He next replaced his rug, then a sculpture to match his rug. His kitchen table was next to be upgraded, and then it was the mirror, and so on. These reactive purchases are a common trap where obtaining new possessions leads to a spiral of consumption that means more and more new things are bought. The further purchases are often things we never needed to make us feel fulfilled before we made the initial purchase. It's good to realize that the need to get new stuff is often just because we are spurred on by a previous upgrade. Understanding this is half the battle won. Number 2. You already have what you need. Believe it or not, we need very little to survive. Sure, it's great to have a drawer dedicated to socks and a collection of fragrances, but the reality is, a toothbrush, bar of soap, and some clean clothes can see you through a lot. There's no need to go that minimalist, but when you really look at it, most items in our homes are non-essential, and most of us have duplicates of many items. There are a growing number of businesses catering to shared resource living. Renting bicycles, ice skates, and surfboards have always been the norm. But now you can hire out the tool you might need, get a hold of a trailer or a car through an app, and even rent a snappy outfit or a window box of growing vegetables. There is little to no reason to have to own anything anymore. But before you start looking at what you can rent, take stock of what's already in your possession and you'll be surprised how much you already have. Even a student starting out has appliances out of convenience more than out of need. Number 3. Less stuff means more space. It's simple math that the less you have, the more space you free up. That's space in your kitchen to cook up a storm, more room on your dining room table to host friends, a place in your garage to invent something new. It's wonderful the things you can do with space, but the best space it buys you is space in your mind. You don't need to remember to change additional water filters, change the extra batteries, or when the next service is on each device. You won't be wondering whether the warranty has run out or how to make space to store your device indoors for winter. All this mind noise is erased when you simply own less, and then you can focus on the things that fulfill you. Number 4. Having stuff takes time. There's more to owning something than just taking it home. Research ahead of buying something, then how and where to store it safely. This often means you need to buy cases, hangers, or a whole cupboard and then assemble it all. Then there's the routine maintenance and upkeep. Next is the time it takes to keep track of all the stuff you own. Ever spent an hour searching through your stuff for a gadget you know you bought for this exact moment, but have no idea where you put it? This might be a good time to consider if your stuff is saving you time or wasting your time. Number 5. If you don't own it, you can't stress about it. It's often been said that the best swimming pool is the pool you don't own. That's because keeping a pool clean is a lot of work, and keeping everyone safe around the pool can end up being quite stressful. It's fences and pool covers and taking them on and off every time you feel like swimming, and at the end of the day, you don't. So many of the things we have, we buy because someone we knew got one and raved about how it changed their life. It's keeping up with the Joneses and caring what everyone else at the campout thinks about our tent that drives us to buy the latest and greatest gear instead of borrowing one or just making do. And the truth is, it doesn't make a darn difference how much fun we have. But it sure makes a difference when we get home from camping and have to find a place to store all that gear once again. Number 6. Having less stuff creates gratitude for what you do have. If you're in constant pursuit of buying more, you pay little mind to what you already have, and then you appreciate it even less. Your trail running shoes will always seem subpar if you're drooling over a new pair. When you have less, you have a greater appreciation for what you do have by realizing what a blessing it is, and will find yourself being happier all around. If this rings true with you, why not take a look at our video, 15 Things That Are Not Worth It in Life? It could inspire you even more. Number 7. You can become a slave to your stuff. The cost of owning something doesn't end when you purchase it. There's the maintenance and upkeep costs we already mentioned. Then there are upgrades and accessories, plus insurance. Before you know it, just keeping your stuff is draining you of more monthly income than you're spending on your social life. It's easy to end up being owned by your stuff. They become your biggest task maker. Is this you? Sure, it might be great to own a ride-on mower, but this means refueling, maintaining, and the actual time to cut the lawn and pack it up each time. Perhaps it would work out to be cheaper and definitely less hassle to get a twice-monthly lawn service. You could even hire a kid in the neighborhood. Number 8. Once the clutter is gone, it keeps you from going backwards. When you see every pair of shoes you own laid out nicely instead of piled up in chaos in your cupboard, you'll find you have the shoes you need when you need them. You'll be more aware of what you own and less likely to want to go back to the clutter again. So when you find yourself browsing new shoes, you'll probably think twice before buying them because you'll know that you have something quite similar already. The other advantage of everything having its own place is when you add something new, you'll be forced to ditch something old to make room for it. So you will be less likely to let the clutter creep back in. Number 9. Less stuff leaves you more mobile. If you're jonesing for a new adventure, ask yourself if you could really pick up and go even if an opportunity to relocate presented itself. Or does packing up your belongings fill you with dread? People with less stuff are more agile and can relocate and set up shop wherever they find themselves. They're more resourceful to make local connections to find the tools, team, or equipment they need because they're used to borrowing, hiring, and working together. Owning less is more than just living with less. It's a mindset to make the most of what you have and find ways to resource yourself with what you need by working with other people. To get yourself one step closer to geolocation freedom, why not start downsizing your closet and perhaps reducing how many lotions and potions you keep in your bathroom cabinet and work on it from there? Number 10. Liquidity is the equivalent of freedom. If you look at your closet right now and do a quick calculation, how many thousands of dollars are sitting in there? That's your hard-earned cash going out of fashion in the cupboard. We all have a good percentage of clothes we don't fit into anymore and never truly did. Then we have the regret purchases. What the hell were we thinking buying that shirt? If we had just paused for a moment in the midst of buying mayhem, it's highly unlikely we would have half the stuff we have in our cupboard. That cash could have been sitting in your bank account this whole time. It could be invested, it could be savings for a trip, or it could be the freedom to ditch the job you hate and pursue your dream. Money buys you security, and most importantly, opportunity. And opportunity is true freedom. Without money, our choices are limited. So next time you consider buying more stuff, think if it's actually worth more than the security and freedom you could have otherwise. Which brings us to our question of the day, Aluxers. What is your stuff weakness? The kind of stuff you know you don't need, but you can't stop buying. What has this stuff cost you? Let us know in the comments. And for sticking with us until the end, here's your bonus. Since the year 2000, fashion production has doubled globally. Compared to 2000, we only keep our clothes half as long, meaning there's a ton of clothing being dumped every year. The average American throws away about 81 pounds of clothing every year. One of the most shocking stats few of us know is that washing clothes release tons of microfibers into the oceans every year. The equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles worth of microfibers enter the oceans from washing machines annually. And this includes the washing in the manufacturing process. So if you needed more motivation to buy quality over quantity and live with less, here it is. Change starts with us, Aluxers, so be the change that you want to see in this world. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, Alux.com.
Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.